since we have such a hope. We are very bold.
All right, Steve Teel, Very Bold Radio and Podcast. I'm so excited talking to Sydney Tooley today of Sun Moon, brand new movie on Pure Flix. Sydney, how are you doing
I'm great.
today?
How are you?
I'm doing really good. I'm pretty fired up though. We haven't talked off camera about your new movie, your debut, screenwriter and director. I can't even fathom, but you have done a great job. So let me just start by just talking a little bit about this movie. I watched the screener on my iPad and I was like, oh, this is really good. I like this, I like that. And then I wanted to watch it again. And so I watched it on my TV and it was like even better. I mean, it was just like, wow. So then I can't really imagine. I want to see it on the big screen, which I know you got to see on the big screen. And I imagine it just kind of blew you away as you saw it. What is it like to see your vision? And you have done great. All right, let me brag. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. Let me just brag a little bit. The comedic touches, Sydney, that you have in there, but also the honesty, and some of it is comedy, but also the tension of relationships and the cross-cultural, and then just this kind of love letter to Taiwan that you've created with just the beautiful different use of cinematography and the use of Taiwan almost as another character. Well done, well done. All right, there's more I can say, but I'm just going to turn over to you. What is it like for you as a first-time director of a feature film and screenwriter? That's a lot of responsibility. Talk to us about that.
It's been a journey. It's wild. You don't really know what you're doing. And I tell people all the time, like you are never ready to dive this deep. It's like I feel like I like that scene in the Titanic where they like drag the ship goes under and you're just dragged down with it. You're like, maybe I'll get back up. I don't know. And it's just like it's Titanic. And especially like trying to work over like through in different languages overseas during COVID. Somebody asked me, they were like, did you shoot this before or after? And I was like, oh no, hon, like during. Like COVID's going.
She said, oh no, hon. Right in the middle of it. Wow, what an accomplishment. And you're right, the challenges of shooting overseas and with the language barriers. Man, it's probably a good thing you didn't know the challenges that faced you, or maybe you would have just said, never mind.
I had an idea, but I have this, I guess my adrenaline junkie side of me is like, let's do it, because we were originally going to film the whole movie for like 25,000 with a bunch of students going over and doing it for like, and I'm glad we did not do that because that would have been crazy. But that was the original plan. So I think some people worry about my my sanity sometimes.
Well, I love it. I don't think God was too worried about it. I think God knew you have the right amount of insanity to pull this off. And you did. You pulled it off. I mean, you're your feature film and you've accomplished this. I don't even know how to describe it, so I'm sorry if I say it wrong. I mean, if it's feels to me a little bit rom-com, but it I mean, and comedy is hard to pull off, but you pulled it off and it has this beautiful sweet story. I kept telling my wife, man, I know there's better words than cute because that's going to offend Sydney, but I mean it's really sweet and delightful, but it has all the human touches, and it's also, I just want to say this, it's like subtle in the right way. You're never like pounding us over the head with the story of their love and the story of her faith. So I don't know where that sensibility came from, but you accomplished it.
Oh, thank you. It was the goal, I think, because I think when you're working in, I think first of all, truth is stranger than fiction, and so situational comedy for me is really fun, because I just think people are funny doing what they do, and right. I don't feel the need to like pump it up, I guess, I mean, obviously for film we kind of boost some things to be more dramatic, but I mean, life is interesting so I wanted to bring sort of this like slice of life, and it is so cute. I think it's cute.
Okay, good. Okay,
I think,
good.
which is good because everything in Taiwan is super cute. Like you go there and it's all like Hello Kitty and stuff, and it's so cute. It's kills me. So I'm glad it's being reflected in a good way.
Okay, good, good. Because I know as as a screenwriter and director, you're an artist, so I don't want cute to be an insult when I really mean it as a compliment. So I'm so glad.
Nah, I think that I'm out here. I like to make stuff. This is my love letter to Taiwan, so it is like very close to me. But also, I mean, we don't need to. I'm hard to offend. I'm like, we're just making things. It's fun, right? Like, we're gonna go make another thing now. Like,
I love it. Well, let's talk about. Well, just tell us just your kind of synopsis of the story for those people who are like, well, Steve really obviously likes the movie a lot, but what is this movie about? What can you tell us, Sydney?
yeah. So, the whole thing starts with her being left at the altar. And she has her mother sick. She feels like she's got nothing left for her, and she's trying to figure out what to do. And in that kind of the wake of that devastation, she kind of gets this inspiration from a pastor who's speaking to go to Taiwan and teach. And so in her way, she's trying to run away from all these situations that she's in. And so she's going to run away from God. She's going to run away from her love life that is now gone, the hardships with her family, and she's just going to go. And so she goes out to Taiwan, and it's a whole other thing. I mean, it's in Mandarin, it's a bunch of kids, and she doesn't even like kids, and she has to learn while she's out there how to teach and connect with these kids while also being afraid to love herself because she feels like she's been burned by everybody around her.
Right. Well done. And man, there's so many different directions I could go from there. I just want to say the different relationships that you captured. Obviously, the love story I thought you captured beautifully, and I think it's would be such a challenge to tell between using Google Translate or whatever to talk with your two main characters. But I thought again, you captured that in a way I think it would be really hard for a lot of directors to pull off. But that would be like one relationship, and I do want to talk about your actress Mackenzie. I don't know how to say her last name, Mauzy or
Mose.
Jose.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Fancy. Okay. That I thought she was great. So obviously you and her worked really well together. But also I just want to say before I just let you talk about stuff, the relationship with her and her sister, I thought, that was another relationship. I feel like I might have focused on one relationship and then let the others just kind of drift off and not have their own sort of story, but you didn't do that. And then the story of Kelsey with the students as well, and I caught it more even the second time, just the beautiful little touches as she learns to care and teach. So just well done. Talk to me then about Kelsey, the actress who played Mackenzie, who played Kelsey, in that performance. She had a lot to bear.
Yeah. So it was really, casting was super important because I think casting is like 90% of your movie because they are the face. And in this film, there is no scene where she's not in it. And so you had to cast somebody that you really wanted to watch for that long. And Mackenzie, when I love her. She and I became really good friends on this. And when she comes onto the screen, regardless of what screen it is, it just lights up. And you're like, whoa, like it becomes like 30% brighter all of a sudden. And I was so captivated just watching her audition tapes because I was like, how do you make Zoom look like that? And she's so fun to work with. She's so vibrant. She loves to travel, and she and the scooter that we have in the movie, that's my scooter. His name is Teddy. And they did, and so it was just really fun. It was like going on making a movie with your best friend and being able to, and we leaned on each other a lot because it's, and like she trusted me a lot as a new director, and me saying like, okay, we're gonna go to Taiwan now, and you're gonna just have to trust me that it's gonna be fine, and here's 15 days of quarantine, but you're gonna be fine.
Right.
And I learned a lot from her as well, just because she's had so much experience as well, and so it was a really good collaboration between the two of us, and she's just so fun to watch through the whole movie.
Yeah, I agree. She is so much fun, and I even, I just feel like as an actor, it would be so tempted in some ways to just overdo it a little bit, but she has some really, I'm sure you in your collaboration, just some really subtle touches. Even just noticed this time, like in a car ride with her sister, just certain looks that she gives that just capture without dialogue, just say so much.
Mm-hmm.
So did you ever feel like, because her performance was spot on, did you ever feel like you did ask a little more, a little less, or did she just naturally kind of have it?
I think that for the most part, she pretty much naturally had it, and there's a lot of conversations that we had prior about the character and the different arcs, because Kelsey does have several arcs. She's got her God arc, she's got her and her sister, she's got her and her mom, she's got her and every single kid that she has to connect with. And so we would talk through, and then also her love interest. And so she had to talk through, we talked through a lot of like, okay, here's what this kind of looks like, and then when it gets to here, then she feels this way. And so by the time we got to set, she just had it, and she did the character most of the time better than the way I had seen it. And when you're working with great actors like that, and I mean, Justin Chien is the same way. Like, he brought this incredible depth to the Horace character, and even just in his looks, like he would give the best looks, and in post I was like, man, this guy is a genius. Like, and so they all of them just bring so much to it, and that's like the beauty of working with great actors.
Right. Man, well said. And I would say on Justin's performance too, like I feel like, yes, like he would almost have a bigger challenge because so much of what he has to communicate is nonverbal. And I mean, he just does a great job. And man, just well done. Well done. All right. I have a couple of just random questions. One of them is just about, you use some of the biblical story of Ruth in there in a very creative way. And this is just kind of a selfish question, just because the Bible study I happen to be doing is studying Ruth. So I'm just curious, did that come to you very specifically, or was it just kind of like, oh, that'll work? Or do you recall?
Yeah, so the story of Ruth, so a lot of the film is autobiographical.
Tell
So
us about that.
yeah, so like the two sisters are me and my sister. The mom who dies is based on an aunt that I lost while I was in Taiwan, who was like a second mom to me. And so it was my way of being able to say goodbye when I didn't have any closure. The kids in the classroom, all the kid arcs are kids that I had dealt with previously, and actually there's at least 3 of my actual students who were in 7th grade at the time when I was teaching, who now are they were high school, like 12th graders when we filmed, and they're in it. And like, I'll circle back real quick to Justin. Those students knew the character that he was playing. Horace was a real teacher I worked with. He unfortunately passed away a year after I completed my time there, and so we dedicated the movie to him. And the kids would talk to Justin about Horace, and he embodied it so deeply that the kids in the middle of scenes would start breaking down and would just start crying. And I'd have to pause the scenes and be like, do you guys need to take a break? Like, are you okay? And like, we have to finish it for him. Like, we're okay, and they pull it together, and like, but he did such a good job with it that like, even like the students who remember him just couldn't make it through certain scenes. And so it was really powerful, kind of watching how those things happened. But then to circle back to Ruth, the kids do this English drama thing every year at the school, and they happen to do the Ruth play when I was there. And so it's pretty much word for word the way that I remember them performing it. And I loved it because the story of Ruth in some ways is pretty scandalous, and then in other ways, like, it's fun watching kids interpret that, especially when they're interpreting it from Mandarin to English, and it's so funny watching how kids think of Bible stories. And it just, I had written the scene and I was like, oh no, this works so well with everything that we're doing. And so it just fits so naturally there. But I had watched the original kids do this play and I was like, we have to put it in there because it was so funny. But it hit all those points that we needed.
Oh my gosh. All right. I am so sorry to run us over time. I lost track of the time and I know you have other interviews, but Sydney, just well done. I am excited to follow your career. I did one last thing I did, especially during the TV screening. I did find myself crying a couple times. I'm tearing up just thinking about it. So just well done. Sun Moon, anybody watching or listening, be sure to go to Pure Flix. That is where you get to watch it. And it's just a great job and a great story and great film. So thank you so much for your time, and apologize to your next interviewer on behalf of me. Throw me under the bus. But thank you, Sydney.
Thank you so much.
Great job. You're welcome.
Therefore, since we have such a hope, we are very bold.